Spineless.
I don't think Gary liked him, really, Arsenal. Yeah, I mean...
The last bastion is gone, Ray.
It's a little bit unfair. I mean, I know I can see his passion for... He's watching them players and they did give in the end. I mean, you're 3-0 down against Man City and it was, you know, we can't let any more goals in.
Is that acceptable in a cup final?
Before the game, did you really fancy Arsenal? I was hoping they could turn up and give them a game, but I really fancied Man City to win that game. I just think they're too good. So expectations for me wasn't as high as some probably Arsenal fans who watched the game, but sometimes it's the manner of how you lose. And you know, the problem what they really lack, Arsenal, is leaders on that field, because once you cross that white line, sometimes you've got to sort it out yourself. And they've always had lots of big players at Arsenal Football Club, especially when I was in the team with the likes of Tony Adams, Martin Keown, Patrick Vieira, Dennis Bergkamp. You had all these sort of figureheads who, when you weren't doing your job on a Saturday, you knew about it, and you would have to change quickly. And I don't see that in the pitch anymore.
Do you see these figureheads in all the other teams at the top of the pitch?
Not really. I mean, the game's changing, isn't it? You know, there's no blame culture in football clubs now. You know, the managers don't like to dig out their players, and certainly they don't. The other boys would rather be mates with each other rather than go and spur them on. If we played together, Ray, I'd tell him if I wasn't happy with something he was doing, and he would tell me. But we wouldn't. It wouldn't be personal.
It's not vindictive. It's just you're affecting each other, aren't you? Yeah. If you're playing central midfield and I'm not doing my job, he's got to fill in for me, and then suddenly he ain't doing his job.
But they are a dying breed, yeah, and I think that the game has changed. But surely something within you yesterday, if I was losing my temper watching that game from an Arsenal point of view.
The pride of a professional footballer.
I would want to just... I know it's wrong, but I would want to just go and kick someone or do something, you know, to try and affect the nightmare what was happening in front of us.
Well, you said yourself, Ray, the three teams that travelled Manchester City, Bristol City, Wolves and Wigan, what did they have as a collective that Arsenal lacked?
Well, I think they just had an organisation that was very good. I think Wigan, if you looked at their back four, they defended like lions on the day. And at times they do make too many mistakes. And Arsenal, you could always say about Arsenal, you never know what team's going to turn up. They're not consistent enough. You know, Man City, I wouldn't put it past them. They beat Man City on Thursday. That's the sort of team they are. But you can't go and win leagues, and you can't go to major competitions if you're inconsistent, because sooner or later you get found out.
If you're not the best team, you're not got the best players like Man City have got, you have to find a different way at times. And that different way is when Bristol City play and the likes of Wigan, they go there with a plan that we can't go toe-to-toe with this team. We have to try and find a different way. And Arsene Wenger, down the years, and I give him credit for it, but sometimes naively, he will always go toe-to-toe. He will always have faith in his players to be able to deliver. But he has to look at that group of players now and think, they're not capable. Up against a team like Man City, they're not capable of going toe-to-toe.
Well, someone asked me the other day, can you make a Man City and Arsenal team up together? I said, well, what's the point? Because you're going to have all the Man City players in it. There's not many... Who would get into the Man City side from Arsenal? Probably none.
So you I mean, they're 10 points off the top four right now. The dream is obviously over it in terms of winning a trophy this year, unless it happened to be the Europa League.
Yeah. All the eggs are in one basket, aren't they now?
Is it that simple, though? The players just aren't good enough?
I look at the players. I mean, they're desperate for a centre-half, another real commanding. Harry Maguire, perfect. As I was talking about before the show with him, and he would be perfect for him. You know, good old-fashioned centre-half who knows how to defend. If I was a manager now, I wouldn't be looking at, can he play out from the back? I'd look at a defender, like Sol Campbell, when they brought him from Tottenham. Yeah. He was a proper defender. And he was unbelievable that season on the unbeaten season. So sometimes you've got to look at characters more than how they play.
Yeah, and they're not sexy. Some of them signings are not sexy signings, like Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan, Ozil signing a new contract. They're fan-pleasing signings. Everyone's like, yeah, we're up, we can play on the front foot, they're going to entertain us. They need some foundation. They need that sitting midfielder. That's what
Arsenal fans are actually looking for and demanding right now, isn't it? That kind of player.
When Arsene Wenger came, he brought in two unbelievable sitting midfielders. I mean, Patrick Vieira, he brought in from when he first signed, and then he brought Petit in. And that's the sort of guys they need now. Do you think two big, powerful men in midfield, 6'2", 6'3", who's going to demand it and control that midfield area? I don't see that. Xhaka, you know, ball watches too much. He takes his eye off the ball. He doesn't concentrate for the whole 90 minutes. You see the goals he give away at Bournemouth when the guys run behind him. Swansea, you know, it's not his fault probably because he's not a holding midfielder. But they need someone. They missed a trick with Kante. That was the signing that he would have been perfect for. I know he's not 6'3", but he's the man who gets around the pitch, a very mobile player, and he does a great job for the team.
Increasing number of dissenters, though, against the manager, Arsene Wenger. Do you think a new manager would make a difference with this group of players, Tim?
I think, Dave, honestly, I think the players are not good enough to challenge for the Premier League title. I think that the Arsenal fans want a team to challenge. They're miles away from that at the moment. They need more players, different types of players, better balance to their squad, and they need a new voice. You know, I love Arsene Wenger. I love what he's done for that football club, and I would always support him as most I can. But at the moment, I think I've run out of time. You know, and I know I'm a Tottenham man, but they need a new voice. Players need new voices, and that's coming from my player's hat on. Sometimes you listen to the same voice too many times, and you can listen to it all you want if you're winning, but when you start losing, you need to change the voice. I
don't know what the preparation's like. I'm sure it's exactly the same as when I was at the club. But he's got totally different characters now. You need a few characters in that team. Well, and I don't see that. And again, I go back to, you know, you've got to find these sort of characters, and it's not always the best players are the characters.
What about
you've got to have a balance.
What about the manager, Ray? If they don't win the Europa League this season, should he walk away?
Well, it's going to be interesting. How does he walk away? Who's the one who's going to sack it? I don't know how it all works out, because I know Conte really believes in...
Would he be leaving the club this summer in your mind?
Well, he could do, yeah. I mean, if they don't get in the Champions League again, it's going to be difficult to, you know, the fans are really...
But do you think he should?
I don't think he wants to leave, if I'm being honest. I mean, he's been there such a long time that, he loves the club, and he still believes he can do a good job for the club.
I think he's earned the right to walk out when he wants to walk out.
Well, he had a great opportunity last season. I mean, you just beat Chelsea, you just beat Man City to win the FA Cup, and, you know, you go out no higher. Now, suddenly, I really hope he's not remembered for the wrong reasons, because he did transform that club when he first come in, but now, whether he's overstayed his time is the big question.
What if he was to announce now, next month, in the next few weeks, that this was to be his last season? What sort of reaction do you think that would get from Arsenal fans between now and the end of the season? Could that actually inspire the team on to more success?
Well, they're only playing for the Europa League now. They're not going to get in the top four. It'd be more or less impossible for them to get in the top four now. So that is their last hope to get in the Champions League. And if they miss again this season, it's going to be a bit of a disaster, because other teams will get stronger, and we know what clubs...
They're capable, Ray. They're capable of winning Europa League. Manchester United did it last season. That was their route into the Champions League. Arsenal, on their day, can beat anyone. It's going to be difficult, the likes of Madrid, Dortmund.
Milan in the next round.
Milan yeah. Picked up recently, you know, with Gattuso there in charge. That is a character. Now, that's someone who's jumping around in that technical area and he's waving his fist around, and I bet you he wouldn't have suffered that at half-time. Gattuso, you know, as manager. I'm not saying that is the be-all and end-all, and all managers have to be like that, but they need a contrast there at Arsenal now.
They've got to get a plan as well. They've got to get a plan behind the scenes. They've got to look at it and say, right, who do we want to take this club on? Do we want to go with an inexperienced person like Thierry Henry has been mentioned, or Patrick Vieira, or do we want to go with the experience in the Champions League like Simeone, or can we tie some up? And then they've got to try and tap them up a little bit. You've got to say, well, you interested?
Do any
in
of
maybe
these
coming
names
to London?
Appeal? I know you're not a betting man, Ray, but but if you were...
Well, you look at it, I'm a little bit surprised with Ancelotti. Well, obviously Ancelotti's managed some of the biggest clubs in the world, and with players as well. Joachim Low would be an interesting one. He's never been a club manager, has he? He's always international. If I look down, the one I would take a gamble on, and I think he'd get time as well, was Patrick Vieira. I think he's managed in New York. He knows the club very well. He knows what the history of the club and where the club want to go. And I think he could attract big players, and I think he'd get a chance. I think the fans would give him a chance as well. So someone like that would be, for me, if I was picking someone, but the board might be totally different and maybe go for someone a little bit more experienced.
Speaking hypothetically, if it was the summer, if it was at a time when Antonio Conte had left Chelsea, would that be an attractive option for Arsenal?
For me, it would be very attractive. If I was in charge of Arsenal there, I would give him the job. I think he's done a magnificent job at Chelsea there. You know, to take that team who finished 10th the year before, you know, to win the Premier League, still in the hunt for the. He's still in the Champions League. Still in the hunt for the Champions League spots this season. I think he's done a great job. I like the character. You know, I really like him. I think he's a contrast to Arsene Wenger. And I really believe that's what Arsenal need now.
Well, why do you think Chelsea haven't backed him? I mean, after winning the Premier League...
But that's Chelsea's model, isn't it? They've been a club like that. You know, there's no coincidence in the second season that they have a wobble, you know, and they sack managers and they get results. And I think perhaps teams will start going like that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Is there a danger that Arsenal slip into that model then?
Yeah, why not? There's no wrong with that model. If it brings success, the fans, there's no danger in it. No danger in it. I think that just go with that model. Why wouldn't you? If it's going to bring trophies, it's going to bring championships, go with that model.
Do you think Arsenal are probably scared of the unknown a little bit?
Yes, because obviously they know their manager. They know, obviously, the books are very good for Arsenal. And the owner, at the end of the day, it's a business for the owner. He's not an Arsenal fan. He's there to make money. Yeah. Simple. And they have made money. You know, the stadium itself is amazing. Everything is going well for off the pitch, but it's on the pitch is where you can't have a fantastic club like Arsenal and not have the players on the pitch.
Well,
it's a little bit like Spurs.
Worse,
Spurs are getting a new stadium, but they still have a great team as well.
It's not really a risk bringing someone else in from where they are. You know, it's a great job to take for a manager.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't do worse than what you've done this season. You know, you finished in 6th. There's no one anywhere near them. No. You know, everyone.
The closest is actually Burnley, who haven't won in 11.
Yeah, but everyone thought Everton might be the team to come forward with the money they've spent. They were nowhere near it. You know, I'm sure there might be some teams who are going to invest in the summer and probably have a go for that Europa League spot. But at the moment, there's no one near them, and Arsenal are so far down, aren't they?
Yeah,
to challenge them for the top 4.
Again, they've got no chance of getting in the top 4. So now they've got to hope that the Europa League is their way into the Champions League. And
is Tim right though? Is the danger that next season, if he stays, it could actually get even worse?
Can't get worse. Can't get worse. Well, this is a great time for a manager to take Arsenal.
As you rightly say, they ain't going to get no lower than 6th, so they can't get no worse. But it's all about demanding trophies, and you know, whether you like it or not, Arsenal Football Club, when he first turned up, was very successful. And I think it's the new supporters that they want to try and compete with the big sides, and all they've seen it stay the same or get worse. So that's why there's a lot of frustration, which I can see from the supporters' side of it.
So what do they do now if they want to voice their discontent?
Well, you still got to get behind the team. I mean, it's a situation. It's a very awkward situation because you know you can feel the toxic atmosphere, especially in games. You know, you can see the goal in the first 15 minutes. You can just sense the crowd turning a little bit on the players. I don't know how they deal with it, whether they have protests, and that's what they've done before.
There used to be a split, though, Ray, in the fans. Is there a split anymore?
Yeah, I think there still is a split. I think there's still a lot of guys will be supporting Wenger. I think a lot of the guys will look at the situation with the club itself, how it's run. Maybe they have to buy more quality, which they haven't done over the years. I know they're spending a little bit more money now when Aubameyang's come in.
But who buys the players? It must be Wenger.
Again, that's behind the scenes, Tim. It's changing.
You know,
there's 5 different people behind the scenes who've changed. So the Dortmund guy's come in now, who's to do with Aubameyang's deal. So maybe he's now going to have a lot more to say than just probably Arsene Wenger. But you know, I've been in situations when Suarez was the one. I mean, they would have won the league if they got Suarez. And I don't know who done that deal. I probably would have done Arsene Wenger. But he'd be frustrated not to have got someone like Suarez. But the problem with Wenger sometimes is he's so loyal to the board that he would never, ever say anything bad about them. He wouldn't come out and say, oh, yeah, I'm not getting backs like Conte has. He wouldn't do that because it's not the way he works. So whether he's too loyal sometimes is another matter. And I'm sure when he does finally leave the club, you'll find out a few home truths from what happens behind the scenes.
Quick word on the game on Thursday. Ray suggested that he wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal go and beat Manchester City.
I'll take his money.
What was you going to give me, Tim?
No, they can't win. Man City are absolutely too good.
Can I get a 2-goal start?
Yeah.
And then give it a draw on Sunday. 7 p.m. on Thursday night for Arsenal and Manchester City live on Sky Sports.